Hello, everyone. Juan here again with another episode of Green Supply Chain Insights, the web series where I bring in my own perspective on green supply chain management, the current state of the industry, and some exciting innovations in this landscape. It's been 6 months already since we launched the series, and I'm super happy with how many topics we've been able to cover in these short and to the point videos. As we head into the year end and what will hopefully be a well-deserved holiday break with your close ones, we thought it was a good opportunity to summarize and reflect on our 5 previous episodes. So if you haven't seen them, I hope this summary serves as a kind of a bait to encourage you to go check them out. Over the past 6 months, we've talked about the concept of green supply chain. We talked about the EU Green Deal and its regulations, with a special insights on EUDR, Europe's deforestation regulation that continues making headlines today. We also talked about money with my argument that green supply chain and industrial decarbonization should not just be about a dreadful regulatory burden, but can actually be a very significant business opportunity. We then went into the world of carbon. We discussed the global efforts to reach net zero, and we broke that down into how businesses are moving towards decarbonization. We touched on carbon markets, detailing some of the issues and risks that the voluntary market has when it comes to the quality of the carbon offsets. We also talked about the regulated carbon markets, especially in the European Union, looking at the EU's emission trading system and its successor, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. That episode on decarbonization was an excellent prelude and a segue almost into COP29, which took place in Baku, Azerbaijan, and started with a very inspiring agenda, but unfortunately closed with an unsatisfying agreement with very limited commitments. And that takes us to today. Now, I won't reopen every single topic. For a deep dive in each theme, I encourage you to go over to finboot.com/insights for the videos, or if you prefer the article form, you can find an accompanying piece for each episode in my LinkedIn article section. What I want to do today is I want to make 5 key points as a conclusion to the events of the year and the insights that I've done. Of course, strictly speaking, on green supply chain and industrial decarbonization. My first point is that we can no longer rely on the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the famous climate COP. We can't rely on it for an impactful, accelerated, and reliable race to net zero emissions. Don't get me wrong, the Paris Agreement was and still is a huge step forward in the fight against climate change. And global organization and cooperation is still very much required if we are to reach our goals. But it is simply not enough. And it has, unfortunately, become a purely political stage where those more experienced in how UN accords and policies work are taking advantage of that to secure their positions and to water down the few commitments that are made. The second point is the implications of this, especially what it means for businesses and specifically for large corporations. And it is basically that they need to do more. Regardless of what governments are asking of them, we need industry leaders who are truly committed to decarbonization to take the lead. The ExxonMobil CEO kind of led by example through a public statement urging President Trump not to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. Hopefully, that wasn't just empty words. I sure would like to see more transparency on that company's progress on climate goals in order to take such a statement more seriously. But we have seen some organizations take a very strong lead, especially capital intensive European companies are making bold moves in the right direction. Energy giant Move, formerly Cepsa, has completely shifted their organization to now focus exclusively on clean energies and literally wave goodbye to fossil fuels in their advertisements. But this cannot stay as isolated instances or as European initiatives only. We need this trend to become the new way of doing business. Now, that raises the next question, which is how do we achieve this? That takes me to points 3 and 4: regulation and monetization. We need regulators to continue to press down the accelerator on climate regulation. The EU's recently renewed European Commission has already voiced their commitment to continue moving forward with the EU Green Deal agenda. California has taken some bold steps this year too, and India and China are progressing as well. And while this is by no means enough, and the world remains way behind in our 2030 emission goals, these regulatory frameworks are helping redefine the modus operandi of industry players. So they are helping trigger some of this necessary acceleration. The second avenue is monetization. And research already shows that consumers care about sustainability, that they back it up with their wallets. On top of that, the whole concept of green supply chain management is to implement an economic and industrial complex that is designed to minimize waste and maximize resource efficiency. So if your customers are paying more for those sustainable products, and if you are becoming more resource efficient, that means simply more profits for your business. To me, it is very clear how these two trends, regulation and monetization, are the main drivers for decarbonization. And my last point and my final point is essentially how to bring these two trends together under the umbrella of green supply chain. Green supply chain management is all about integrating eco-friendly practices to mitigate environmental degradation, to enhance operational efficiency, and to foster economic growth. It is crucial for reducing global emissions and aligning operations with strategic sustainability expectations. It is also crucial that we do this in a way that preserves competitiveness and that helps us positively influence market share and profitability. The global aim is to achieve that much needed decarbonization while at the same time preserving our industrial capacity. Green supply chain management is all about industrial transformation for a more sustainable economic system. And I leave you with that and with my heartfelt wishes for you, your family, and your friends to have a very happy Christmas, and hoping that in the new year, we continue working together to accelerate industrial decarbonization, to realize value while improving efficiency and driving economic growth. Green Supply Chain Insights will be back in January. I won't spoil our theme for that, but I'm sure that if you think about what the global event or what global event is happening in January 2025, you might be able to guess what I'll be talking about. Let me know your guess in the comments. And once more, thank you for watching and see you next month.